वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की fateh. Welcome to Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day, where we journey through the wisdom of Gurbani. The recitation and reflection today is the composition of the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan, in the rag Sorat. And it is an invitation to all of us for inner transformation. The sabad, starting with the first verse. Sorat Mahalla Panjava Jina Baat Sorat Mahalla Panjava Jina Baat ko Bahut Andesaro te mite sab gaya Sahaj Sain ar Sukh man nari Ood Kamal Bigsaya. So the opening line, the Guru is saying, the things that made me very anxious, or the things about which I had apprehensions. Andesaro is misgivings, apprehensions. So the things that made me very anxious have all melted away. Jina Baat ko Bahut Andesaro, Baat, things that caused me anxiety, te mite, they have erased. Sab gaya, they have all gone. And now, you see, we are all troubled. So what he's stating in the first line, Guru Arjan, is essentially describing a universal human experience. The mind is always tangled in worries and fears. It's always looking to find a way out. This is the relentless noise of our thoughts, the weight of anxiety, and the feeling of calmness that we seek. And we see that shift happening in the second line. He suddenly now says, my mind is at rest, Sahaj Sain. Sahaj is a state of equipoise, relaxation, a spontaneous state. Ar Sukhman Nari. Now we have to remember that Sukhman comes from Shushmana. This is yogic symbolism that refers to the main energy channel within the body. That is yogic belief that there are energy centers that move up the spine, and that if one is able to tap into them, it brings bliss. That's the yogic. But here the Guru is saying, he hasn't said how, but he's saying that my anxieties have been put aside. My mind is at rest, Sahaj Sain, with the flow of harmonious thoughts, ar Sukhman Nari. That's how I've translated it. Because obviously Guruji is not advocating the yogic method, but he's using yogic symbolism. And even the next line, Ud Kamal Bigsaya, the blossoming of the inverted lotus. In yogic symbolism, in Tantra actually, the inverted lotus moving upward signifies spiritual awakening. So the Guru is saying, I am now spiritually awakened. Bigsaya, blossomed. The lotus, the inverted lotus of my consciousness is now blossomed. So the things that made me very anxious have all melted away. My mind is at rest with the flow of harmonious thoughts. And the inverted lotus of my consciousness has blossomed. So this is the inner transformation that has occurred. So the imagery of an inverted lotus of Sukhman Nari is very powerful. Now, how did this happen? The Guru in the Rahau says, Dekho achraj bhaya, behold this marvel, this wondrous thing, this miracle that has happened. Jeh Thakur ko sunat agad bodh. I had heard that the master, Jeh Thakur, that master, ko sunat, I heard, agad bodh, was infinite and imperceptible. So I had heard that the master was infinite and not available to my senses, agad bodh, it's beyond the senses. But then a miracle happened. What was that miracle? So Hriday Gurudaya, I experienced it in my heart, thanks to the compassion of the enlightener, Gurudaya. So the clue is given here. The master was infinite and beyond understanding, but through the Guru's compassion, I have experienced this truth in my own heart. So the shift is not intellectual, it's experiential. It's not about gathering knowledge, but about opening the heart. It's about grace. So it is not about the striving of the yogi to open up the Shushmana Nadi. It is about surrendering oneself, the ego. And then now, in the second verse, he speaks about the messengers of death. We shall see what that means. Joe doot mohe bahut santavat. The messengers of death, literally, that's what it means. Mohe bahut santavat, troubled me greatly. Te bhayanak bhaya. They are now terrified of me because karo benati rakh thakurte. I sought the sanctuary of the self and pleaded for refuge. Kare benati rakh thakurte hum teri sarnaya. That is how joy doot bohe bahut santavat te bhayanak bhaya. That is how they were terrified of me. So the messengers of death represents both fear of mortality and the vices that trouble the mind. And so what the Guru is telling us, that when we take sanctuary in the divine, in the wisdom of the self, those fears lose their hold. Then we can rest in trust. The mind becomes a place of calm rather than chaotic. The third verse, Jeh Bandar Gobind ka khulya. Jeh Bandar, the treasure of the master, the treasure house. Bandar is a storehouse of the master. Khulya is open. Jeh Parapat Teh Laya. It is open to anyone who wishes to receive it. Ek ratan moko guradina. Mera man tan siital thaya. Ek ratan. The Guru gave me a jewel. You could also read this to mean the jewel of oneness. And when I received it, my mind and body became tranquil and soothed. So, Jeh Bandar here, the treasure house, is a reference to enlightened congregation, Sadhu Sangat, which is open to all. And in the presence of the enlightened minds, in Sadhu Sangat, the Guru is mystically present, and the gift of oneness is received there. And in conclusion, Ek boond gur amrit dino, ta atal amar na mua. Ek boond, with a drop of nectar that the enlightener gave me, what happened? Ta atal amar na mua. I realized my immortal nature, my immortal self that never dies. Bhagat Bhandar Guru Nanak ko saunpe. The Guru gave Nanak, entrusted Nanak. Saunpe is to entrust Nanak with the treasure of devotion. Bhagat Bhandar Guru Nanak ko saunpe, and then no further accounting was asked for. No further account was demanded. So bhakti is the treasure house where we congregate with enlightened minds to receive this gift of realization. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.